Hi guys, happy Wednesday. Um, Super excited to have you here. I know I see all you guys kind of like chatting about the chilly weather. It's a balmy 12 degrees here. Um, so that's okay. We're just gonna stay in and craft, right? That's a much better option for me anyway. So I have picked out some things. This I actually the lucky to have you I had on my desk from the cards that the ones that I did that I was going to share last night and then didn't get to it. And then this is, I don't know, you guys might be familiar with these. We've done a couple of them at Honeybee. The bold background, I love these. I think that they are super underutilized, and so I pulled out this one today. I pulled out this one, the Vines of Love, specifically, honestly, because it's on sale, which I think we all appreciate a good sale. You know what I'm saying? So these are a great way to use up your scraps, which I have a lot of. So I'm gonna pull out my scrap bin so that you can see it. It lives under my desk. Hold on. It's a big in. It's a big girl. So this is my bucket of scraps. As you can see, I have a lot. So I have a lot of greens and reds and pinks and purples. And so I thought surely I'll be able to have enough scraps to put together this cute little card here. So now that you've seen my bucket of scraps, I am going to take myself off of the screen, and then we will just have the desktop. Give me a second here. Cooperate. Let me bring my mouse down here. There we go. Okay. So I'm also going to, which I would recommend that you do as well. You guys know that I always do. That when you're putting together any of the kind of layering dies, that Honeybee has a layering guide. And so I always recommend bringing that up. I will be bringing mine up because it will tell me how many times to cut the things. All right, so I'm going to take these out. And then just kind of assess what I need here. So the greenery here is one large piece. I like to kind of, because it has that sticky, that's holding it on there. I like to kind of try to get it from different angles so that I don't rip the background. And then it has that nice little way that we can line it up. So I know I need one whole piece of green. Do I have that in my scraps? Will it go this way? Yes, it will. So this is lucky lady number 1 on the green. And then this is also green. This is where like the flowers, like the little flowered hearts. Hi, Dina. Glad you can make it. So I'm going to put this on the same green here. And now I'm going to, we have a couple of different kinds of hearts. And I think I'm going to lean towards like pinks and reds. I think. So I'm going to look in here and see what I've got. I've got this guy here, which I think is looking really nice with this green. Oh my gosh, Benita, you're having a week. I'm so sorry. Fur babies they are precious. They are family members. Okay. You know what? I'm going to pull out a lighter green to cut these out of since they're going to be on top. And then I have this red here. And then the pink. And then, do I have maybe a dark red? How do I feel about that? Oh, see, no, this one's a full sheet. I don't want to use a full sheet if I don't have to. No. And also I'm going to see if I can find a smaller scrap of that one. Just by digging around in what I got. All right, so there is, maybe I should switch it to be more of a subtle pink. Because like these all go, why do I have these out? Oh, because of the rose. That's why they go together so well. Because of the one I did with the rose. But this is a little bit more subdued than I would like. I like the pink. And I like the bright red. The bright, wait. Is there, hey, there we go. All right. A more scrappy scrap. And then I do have like a light pink. I guess we could do like a light pink. Because we're going to color them anyway. You know that we are. All right. So I think that's good. I think that's good for now. I'm going to wrestle my scraps back under my desk. There we go. And then, now let's see. I would like to be able to cut multiple so that way I can kind of mix them up. So I'm going to do the big ones out of the light pink right away. Will this fit in here? Oh, look at that. Perfection. And these little guys will go out of red. And then we will kind of mix that up a little bit. Hi, Maria. So pro tip, when you go to set these aside, because there's no dies on here and the sticky is there, I set my packaging on top so that I don't accidentally set a piece of paper on top of it and rip it. Hi, Kim. Okay, so I got trash on trash on trash. Yesterday was a very, very busy day. I don't know if she's in a sleep regression or what she has going on, but my daughter is not, she's waking up a lot in the middle of the night. The last 2 nights, it's been like 6 o'clock in the morning, and my husband's just like, when he is getting up for work, he just comes in there and wakes me up out of her room because I have been sleeping in there. The first night I went in there 3 different times. That was not last night, but the night before. And she kept waking up and I kept having to go back in. So finally on the 3rd time, I just slept in there. And then last night I went in there 1 time. And then the second time I was just like, I'm staying. I'm just staying. It is what it is. Okay. And then I'm going to tape these down. Hi, Julia. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, is maybe she's coming up on a growth spurt, because neither one of I need to actually get this lined up here before I tape it down. Both of my kids did not sleep well when they are in a growth spurt. So I'm thinking maybe that is what's going on. All right, so there's that one. So that one, I'm going to have to run through my platinum, like my big guy, because it's a full background. Yeah, both your boys were up at 3 a.m. this morning. Yeah, what is going on? What is going on? So, but then these ones, I purposely, during the Black Friday sale, I bought the Scout from Honeybee specifically for the lives, because I'm always having to like take my things off of the desk, because it's really just like cumbersome to get that big guy up here. So I bought it on purpose. I'm going to move this up. I bought it on purpose so that I would be able to use it during the lives. So that just means that I have to trim down my little pieces parts, which really is not a big deal. Especially for this one, because he's already pretty trimmed with all the die cutting around him. All right. But this one we got to do the big one for. So let's move these little guys. Oh, thanks for popping in to say hi, Denise. Good luck with mom. Yeah, the Scout is really very convenient, especially if you're, if you have smaller things that you're cutting. I like having them both. Obviously, if I could only invest in one, which, I mean, I bought this one first, because it does all of the things. But since I could get it on a sale, I'm not sad I invested in the smaller one. All right, let's cut this out. And then because this is like really very intricate, I like to roll it back through. And then see what we're working with. So that looks pretty good. If for some reason you're like, oh, I don't think it's cutting right, try putting it in. Like, I would have to trim this off, but you could try putting it in at a little bit of an angle, and it changes the points where like the more pressure gets put on. So if you're having issues with your more intricate dies, try that. What color did I get? I just got the white. I didn't want the lavender one, because I don't love purple all that much. I know they had a blue one for a while, but Honeybee didn't have it. So I just got the white, y'all. They did have some blue cutting plates. So I did get those as my backups. All right. So now here's our little guy. Oh, I got to flip him around. But isn't he so much easier to use? Oh, you have black. Yeah, that's fun. And then I also invested in the universal cutting plate. So now I'm just going to lay these out. Okay, I'm going to have to wait for that pink one. And then I can just roll them on through. Oh, I'm turning. Stand by. There we go. Okay. And then I'm going to grab my these little craft catchers come in like a set of 3. And I'm so glad that they do. I use them for all kinds of stuff. This one little guy. There we go. These 2 already fell out. You've never seen the Catchers? Oh, they're from Glassboard Studio. I do like them very much. All right, so now I'm going to do this one. I don't think I need any more. Let me double check the layering guide. Okay, so I don't need any more. I only need 5, but you guys know I can't do anything just on its own. So I am going to cut a few more because I intend to kind of modify my background a little bit. Hi, Laura. Okay. So now I'm going to grab another piece here and just trim around that. Again, you don't need this to do the original design, but I'm not going to do the original design. And then I'm also going to switch up the colors that I'm cutting my hearts out of. So that we have multiples. Yeah, one of them, see, is over here and is just my trash. So I can just put all of my things in there, and then when it gets full, take it to the trash can to empty it. It's the little things. That's really very convenient. Very convenient. All right. And then we're going to do red here. So that is one of the things that I really do enjoy about things like this, because these hearts are like a full piece. You can cut them out and use them for other things. Like if you wanted just like cute little hearts to accent a sentiment instead of rhinestones, like you could just use those. You don't have to buy anything special because you already own this. All right. So now that's that. And I'm going to fit that back in there, run this back through. Oh, you know why? I think that's because I didn't open it on my desk. I brought it up here already opened, so I think that it's not sticking because of that. Like I didn't get the little suction cuppies. All right, back over here. Drop my die. Has anyone seen the stencil bath? Oh, I think that scrapbook.com came out with that. Is that right? I think that's where I saw it. Maybe it's not from them. Maybe they just carry it. I did see it. I don't use stencils enough. Like I just take my stencils to the sink and wash them. But I could see if you're in a place where you don't have that as an option, that would be super helpful. All right. So this one and this one both need to cut out of this pink color. We're done with this. I'm gonna set that little guy over there. I desperately need to clean off my desk. Anybody else? It can't just be me, right? That one we've cut out of red and we've cut out of pink. I think we didn't cut out of light pink. I've used a lot of paste that hardened really quickly. Yeah, then I imagine that that would be super helpful for that. I learned a long time ago, like and it was kind of like a humbling lesson to learn, that there would be times where I'd be like, well, why would they even make that? Like, who would even use that? Not about the bath, but just about, other things in general. And in fact, the one in particular was the inkstand. I was like, why would I need that? Like, I can just hold it while I am ink blending. And like that, that was such just an ignorant view, because I have two hands that I am capable of holding mine. Not everybody is, Kelly. Like, so it was a very humbling moment when I met my friend Jen, and due to some health problems, she was right-handed and now she is left-handed because her dominant hand does not work. And so the inkstand is like a blessing for her. And because I didn't have that problem to solve, it did not occur to me. So now I try to be much better about thinking about things, new products and things like that from other people's perspective. Oh, static cling. I lost my heart. Hi, Brandon. Where is this? What are you sticking to? There it is. Okay. And then this little guy. I feel like the only one we're missing is the big ones out of bread. Does that seem right? I think everything else we got. Trash, dye. Oh, see, now here's where, like, see this? I could fit a sentiment on there. That's going back in the scrap pile. All right. And then the big red ones. And then I think that's the last of it. I'm being lazy. There. Come on. There we go. Yeah, I do. They are not perfect hearts, and I can see how that might be bothersome to some. I think that they are the more whimsical style of hearts, having them, a little asymmetrical. All right, trash. Now, we're done with this. We have all kinds of different hearts. We're going to pop this guy out. I have not committed to what my background color is going to be yet. So when I have ones like this, like I just kind of like to do the wave with my paper to start kind of loosening them up, because they are a little bit more intricate. And so I don't want to be too rough with in this case, the vines. So by doing that little wave firsthand, it kind of breaks up any of the pieces and makes it so it's a little bit easier to pull out. And then I'll worry about the little loopy parts, like the parts that are left in the little loop, once I get it out of the main page. And this all trash. So I think I'm actually going to have to empty my trash. What is this? I think this cardstock is from Concord 9th. There it is. I feel like Hero Arts used to have a very similar color. So it could also possibly be theirs, but they're I think theirs is out. Okay, there we go. Sometimes I rip my die cuts. Yeah, that's why, like, I did it last night where I ripped one on accident because I was that one was my own fault. I was rushing. All right. So fresh new trash, fresh new desk trash. Tomorrow is garbage day. I really need to empty this trash can. They did have some pretty good colors, but I feel like there's so many on the market now that I could find a dupe for almost all of them. The only one that I missed that I have not been able to find one for is their plum color. Everybody else's plums are too purple, and theirs was more on the pink side. Okay, so now I have a, yep, I do. I'm not saying I'm committing to the white. It's actually a card base, which is wild because I never cut a card base. But anyway, so let's just lay this here and see what we're working with. Okay. So I'm just going to pick some randoms out so I can see how they want me to lay it out. So you got a big one up here. We got a big one here. We got the kind of medium one down here. Another big one here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm missing this one right here. Let's do it in light pink. Okay. And then this one here. All right. Then you do the little guys. And this is that, you guys know I talk about all the time in my videos, and especially now because being in the lives, we're together a little bit more often. I talk about the dry fitting. That's what I'm doing here to make sure that I have all of the pieces, parts that I would need. And then it's also going to give me the opportunity to swap out my colors for me to be a little bit happier with those. This one is like a medium, not a small, like a medium here. Is there two? No, there's just one, and it's on here. Okay. And then there's two small ones. Come here, little guy. Two small ones down here at the bottom. Oh, dropped them. Okay. So, Kat, that's funny that you, I wish Ultimate would come out with more colors of cardstock. Lisa, they have so much. Girl, they have a lot of cardstock. But Kat, they, Spellbinders does have, what do they call it? Hold on, because I have it. That's exactly what I did. The little pack of Color Wheel cardstock, and it has a small piece of all of their colors. And then that way I could make a decision based on what I wanted to pick up. So just so you know, they do have that. I don't know about the other companies, but I know Spellbinders got it. Okay. Yeah, I think that they do have like those sampler packs. I always pick those up. Like that's my preferred way of doing it. When I'm buying new cardstock, All right, so then that's all. This is all of the hearts that make up this particular set. And then you put the little green, that's too small. Here, this one's a big one. You put the little green guys on top here, so it looks like it's a flower. You get what I'm saying? So, but oh, did they get rid of it? I don't know. I don't know. Did they get rid of it? I hope not. I find that to be extremely useful. All right, so I'm going to take these off for the time being. But see, there's like these larger areas here that don't have any hearts. So I'm going to fill those in with, remember how I said I'm going to cut extras of these? It doesn't have to be this one, but like you could just put it in there and then kind of make your own design. And that, you guys already know, I'm all about that. I'm all about anything that's going to give me the opportunity to kind of make a card my own. So I'm going to do this one like this. And then I don't want it to be too crazy, but I do want there to be maybe one over there. We could put one up here. And then I think maybe one in here, maybe like a medium-sized one. This way, this way. I think this way. Like that. And then I think we have a really like full card. And I like that. And then that way, when we put our sentiment, did I lose it already? Where did I put the sentiment? Did I lose it already? Oh, no, here it is. Okay. So then when we put the sentiment on, because this is a pretty good size sentiment, then we'll have more kind of colors kind of peeking out. Okay. All right, so now that we know what our business is about, let's figure out our greenery here. So I'm going to take off any of the ones that are extras. Nope, there was one in there that was not an extra. There was one in there that was there. Okay, you're an extra. And then I need to figure out which greenery ones I need to color, so that way we're not coloring more than we need to be coloring. And we're not going to be crazy. We're just going to add some depth and dimension. The background, this part will be the hardest part. Okay. There we go. So now let's, that one goes there. That one goes there. I think this one is the one for up here. Yep. So I know sometimes like when you're watching videos, it doesn't seem like, you know, in order to put the videos together, we're doing any pre-planning. But that's usually honestly the part that we're cutting out, that we're cutting out of the video. I feel like this is too large for this, but it's not. It just looks that way. All right. I'm just going to color all the green ones. And then I'm going to look and see. It's probably hard for you guys to see. Let me scoot these up. So I'm just kind of looking at the colors that I have, and I can see right away that I'm a little light on the light pink and a little heavy on the hot pink. So I'm going to swap out this one for this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So these ones are all. Well, no, I've got some big ones in there too. I think that's okay. I'm going to save these for. Well, honestly, I'd save them for anything to just put on other cards. But I'm going to save them for putting around the sentiment if I need them. So I'm just going to set them off to the side. And then we're going to get into the coloring. So I think last time we colored, we did Copics. So this time we will do Olos. Unless that does not work for you guys, then please let me know. But if you're good with that, I'm going to start. Where did I put my... Oh, I bet it's down here. I was doing my stuff for the color theory class, and so I have a little bit more paperwork around here than I usually do. And I think my things got mixed in there. Okay. And they did. So it doesn't seem like you guys have an opinion either way on the markers. Okay. So I am going to do 2.3 and a 2.5. Do a G 1.8 and an 8.7 and then a 1.6. And a 1.4. What are you connected to? A 5.3. There you go. All right. So those I'm going to do for my greens. My pinks, I'm going to do an RV 0.2. I'm trying to pick them based on each individual color so that they are still lighter. So I'm going to go a 2.2 R 2.2. What are you connected to? A 5.1. 2.2, 5.1. Am I missing you? Where are you located? Oh, there it is. I've been using the Olos for the color theory class. I'm finding it very hard to do the shading. Okay, because they're not blend. Kim, tell me why they're not working. Is it because they're not blending? Because usually a juicier marker blends better. Or is it that you're having a hard time controlling the ink? Tell me what the struggle is. Okay, so 2.2, 0.2, and then a 0.4, I think, for this little guy. And then I'm going to go a 2. I'm going to go a 1.3. For this one, a 1.3, a 1.5, and a 1.7. My grandkids have not had school since last Thursday. My son has not had school at all this week. And we live in Ohio, and we're prepared for this. It's the cold. That is what's keeping them out of school. I think controlling the ink, I'm too heavy-handed. Kim, what kind of paper are you using? Because I know, like for Copics, I've always used Neenah 80-pound solar white cardstock. But, oh, you can email me the pictures, absolutely. If you don't want to share them, that's fine. But my friend Lori, who worked with Copics for years, she said she struggled to kind of control them on the Neenah. And so she had to switch over to the Express It paper. I don't care for the Express It paper. That's just me. So I still use them with Neenah, but there was a little bit of a learning curve. All right, a 1.5. Hello, sir. Okay. And what am I going to blend that out with? An R 0.4 maybe? That's just going to blend it. That's not going to do anything else. Okay. All right. So now I've selected my colors. Yeah, so if you're using Neenah, maybe try using a paper that's specifically made for coloring, like a Copic Express It paper or something like that. Oh, good, you have that too. Yeah, try that, and it might give you a little bit more control. All right, now that we got our colors, we are going to zoom in here. I have all these glitters on my desk because my daughter, I was making a Valentine's Day card for my husband. And my daughter was like, "Are you going to make me one?" And I was like, "Yes, I will make you one." And she was like, "Okay, I want all of these glitters in there. All of these. I want you to put all of these glitters in there." And y'all, can I just tell you the stack of glitters that she handed me? There is not a card in the world I could make that I would be able to fit all these glitters in there. She is something. She is something. Okay. I'm going to scoot these over. I'm going to scoot my little mess over here so that I can lay these down. And I'm going to start with the green because that is going to take the longest. So for this one, I'm going to do a 7, an 8.7, a 1.6, and the 1.4, I think is what I decided. Okay. Now, zooming in. I'm going to have to color it this way. Otherwise, it won't fit on the screen. And then just to... Yes, she is. She does love the sparkles. And I would never want her to not love the sparkles. But I was like, there ain't all them sparkles ain't fitting, my love. Okay. So now this is my darkest color. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to look and see where I want to add my shading. So the stems, I'm going to do my darkest color, mostly because they're sticking out behind other ones. And then I'm also going to add a little bit of shading kind of up the leaves with this darkest color. Now there is an exception for the vines. It's this little loopy right here, and I'll show you when I get there. Because that little loopy is not a flat vine. So that flat vine doesn't get the same shading as everything else. Same thing with this little guy. Look how he's kind of sticking off. All right, so for the loop, is Hammermill good for marker coloring? I've never used Hammermill. I'm not sure. I think that's the one that Jennifer says she likes, but Jennifer does very minimal coloring. So I cannot tell you 100%. All right, so this one, the loop, you have to pick a part to be on top. So this part that's rounding over is going to be my part that's on top, which means I'm going to add shadow to the left and the right side. And then I'm just kind of going to spread this up a little bit. And then I'm going to stop there so that I can make that a little bit lighter. Same thing with these little loops. That one I was a little heavy-handed with, but it's okay. Bring that down. So I'm almost wondering if putting this on like a dark green background would be beneficial. If you just took my color theory class, then you already know that we're working. that we're working with a little bit of complementary color. Okay. Trying to keep my head down and do my coloring, but also trying to see about the comments. If you guys have any questions, I don't want to miss them. All right, and here we're back to another loop. So dark there, dark there, dark here. This one kind of comes across. So I'm going to do it like that. Okay. Oh, I just picked up a fuzzy. Okay. Oh, see, I just colored that whole loop. It's going to be fine. This one, I'll do the right way. I'll do that one the right way. So especially like this first go round with the darkest color, this is where it's definitely going to be the most time consuming because nothing has any color on it. So you really kind of got to pay attention to, where you're laying down your shadows. But this is the mapping that's going to make everything else much easier. Because now we know where everything goes. Hi, Tara. I feel like I can't get fine lines with the nib on the Olos. Yeah, it is a little bit more challenging because they have that free flow ink. So you really don't want to be using too much pressure at all with the Olos. So now I'm just going in and kind of extending out from that darker color. I'm also going to get into these here. This one I didn't completely, I just did a little on each side. So that way we still have quite a bit of a lighter color where it's looping over. I'm a turner because I like to flick away from myself. So I'm trying to make sure I keep it on the screen. See how much faster this one went? Because we weren't really having to think about it. It's that first one that we gotta pay attention to. And then once we have those shadows down, whether you're doing it with your lightest color or your darkest color, however you're more comfortable, but once you get those down, then from there, it's a much faster process to move out to our lightest color. Okay, and then this is my 1.6. I pulled out 4 colors, but honestly, I don't think I'm going to need it. This is one of those where it's a learning curve for me too, because I'm still getting comfortable with the color combinations. So I know it looks really like it honestly almost looks like it's all the same color when I'm putting this one down, but you can see as it's drying, it's getting lighter. I'm not sure I could color all my die cuts. I wouldn't want to part with the card after all the coloring. Well, see, for me, the part that I enjoy is the coloring. So this is my favorite part of the card making. The die cutting is not enjoyable. The coloring is the creating portion for me, and that's the part that I like the most. That's why sometimes I make cards like we did. Was it last week? Week before? I can't remember. Might have been the week before, where we did the little coffee and muffins and cupcakes. Like sometimes I just like to do those cards because it gives me an excuse to color a lot of stuff. And I enjoy that very much. Oh, thank you, Tina. So I am going to I think that's my last little leaf. Did we get them all? I think so. So I think, let me look in my little scrappy pile super quick and just see what I have in here. That's a teal. I need a, looking for a green, That's a brown. Oh, this is kind of like the same color cardstock. So I think I would like a darker green though, maybe. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind. I do think I would like a darker green. What do I have? Christmas pine, maybe? Yeah, let me just... Okay. Oh, yeah, see, I do like that. Okay. Now, we're going to move on to these little guys. And we want the part where it's meeting the stem to be the darkest. So that's how I'm going to lay them out. I'm not going to put in a ton of work here. Can I go from a, no, maybe to a 2.5. I might be able to make the jump to a 2.5. All right, here's what I'm going to start with, and we'll see. So again, we're coming up from the bottom. And you could even do, like, if you wanted to add a little bit of darkness in between each one of the little, like, prongs, you could. But we don't have to be crazy about adding a ton of dimension or anything like that. They're very small. But even just doing that little flick is going to help them to be a little bit more dimensional. And then I'm just kind of doing the bottom. Okay. And then I'm holding I think a pale blue or brick red would be my choice, but then I'm not a fan of darker colors. Maybe I need to branch out and start trying darker colors. So, Tina, the reason that I like the darker colors is because it does give us contrast. And that makes for a more dramatic card. What did they say? I considered the Altenew alcohol markers, but I can't get past the fact that they don't have refills for 15 of the colors. What? They don't have refills for 15 of the colors? I don't think I knew that. Sorry. Are you sure? I did have somebody email me once and say that they couldn't find the refills for the colors they were looking for, and they emailed them and they said they didn't have them, and I was aghast. So then I emailed, at the time it was May Park who was in charge of it, so I emailed May, who is a friend of mine, and was like, hey, why don't you have these refills? And it turned out that it was just somebody new who had started working there, and it was a glitch in the system. How many colors do they have? Altenew has quite a few. And their markers are good. Their artist markers are good. I just did a Altenew video yesterday and used them. Do you know what colors they are? I'm just curious. Okay. So now we have all of those. So these are a little bit lighter. I know it's hard to see on the background. So then here we'll have ones that are even lighter still. See, they kind of pop off the page. So they're much more dramatic. Dina, you have something you haven't opened yet? Girl, get in there and open them. Use them. Those marker sheets, I'm telling you, are a great way to practice. They're also great to take with you. That's what I always take with me when I'm traveling. Okay, so you can just see the difference between the two, right? So we're happy with those. Let's throw these bad boys on there and move on to the next after we clean this up. That's just stamp cleaner because I did not wet my washcloth. And then the other thing that I'm going to do is, see how I've colored my fingernail here? There's one missing color from the D set, 7 from the H set, and 7 from the I set. Okay, hold on. I'm going to write that down because I want to look into it. 1 from D, 7 from H. Those are like newer sets too. And 7 from I. Okay, I've made a note. I shall look into it. Okay. Never used anything but Oahu markers, and I love them. That's good. Tina, I'm glad you have something that you love. Oh, Julie, how is your mom? I didn't even see that you were in here. I would like to know, how is your mom doing? Okay. All right, we're going to move on to the lightest color. That way we work up to the darkest color and we don't have to clean in between. And then remember, these little guys have the holders that come up like this. So we're going to add shading from the bottom towards the top. And what did we pick for these? Over here? That seems about right. 2, 2.2, 0.2, 1.3. Yeah. Right? No, we went with the 4. That's a lie. Not you. You. Okay. Oh, no, I understand that you emailed them and they said that they weren't going to release them. But I also own those markers, so I would like to know why they aren't releasing them. I wasn't saying that what you were doing was not sufficient, but as a customer who owned them, I would also like to know why they aren't going to release them. Okay. Oh, I'm glad mom's doing better. Good. I'm glad to hear that. All right, so now we're going to add shading from up at the bottom towards the top. And we're just kind of flicking. Obviously, the smaller ones don't have as much real estate, so they may be a little bit darker, and that's okay. And then going right over that previous color to blend it out. Okay. And that actually is blending pretty well. I'm pretty happy with that. Okay. And then, sorry, I keep holding them, the 2.2. And this is really almost like the color of the paper, but having that additional moisture is going to help those other colors blend in. So we have little, what are these? Like cotton candy colored hearts. Maybe phasing out their alcohol markers. The refills have been on sale for 6 months. Oh, I would be surprised. Altenew is a big fan of carrying their own line of things. Like they have their own line of colored pencils. They have the watercolors. So I would be surprised if they did not continue to carry their own marker line. Okay, so now this one we picked the 1.3, the 1.5, and the 1.7. This is one of my favorites. I love this pink. I love this pink combination. Okay. And then just the same thing here. Up from the bottom toward the top. Blending that one out with the mid-tone. I don't know if Honeybee ever will do their own line of cardstock. And the reason that the other ones may be out is because things changed drastically with all of the tariffs. So they might not be able to use the same suppliers that they were using previously. All right. Then this one down from the top into the bottom to blend it out. Okay. There's that ones. And then finally our red. Got little okay, I got to switch these around. All right. So a 0.4, 1.5, and a 0.6. Now this one, I know for sure the lightest color is almost lighter than the cardstock itself. So that one really will be used just for blending out the other two. Before I decided if all markers were for me, I got a set from Target. That's an excellent idea. I bought the Marvy Yakurta alcohol markers before I invested in my Copics because they were a smaller price point and it gave me an opportunity to kind of practice. Oh, Lisa, I hope you're feeling better soon. I hope you get some relief. Okay. All right, so now we got all of those colored. I'm going to clean this up and then we can start building. I also colored my nail polish again. Apparently I've done a lot of coloring there. All right, so let's back us up again. I don't think that I am going to double check real quick because when I go and look for when I go to look at the layering guide, I can't see your guys' comments. So I would like to see if I have the actual layering card. I'm not 100% sure that I do. But also, if you don't have like a darker cardstock, if you're like me, and for years I never invested in colored cardstock because I had a very, very limited card making budget. And I didn't want to spend my money on colored cardstock. I invested in inks instead. You could absolutely make yourself a darker background with, oh, dropped my paper trimmer. with some inks. This one I would probably say is going to be like pine needles and maybe a combination of pine needles and rustic wilderness. But you know, you would be able to get there nonetheless. So I'm going to leave this here for 1 second. I'm going to just look to see if I have that. I'm still in the room. I'm just not sitting right here. Where? Here they are. Let me see what I got. Most of mine are and I don't have that one, which is a bummer, but that's okay. We'll get through it. We shall get through it. Okay. Apparently, beer will get rid of stones. I did not know that. Okay, so full disclosure, I have lost the cap to my honeybee glue. That makes me very sad. But that does mean that I have to clean out the nib with the needle while I wait for, I might have to pop the whole thing off. This is going to be a little lesson in how to clean out your own glue. I might have to go this way and just make sure. See, it's got some chunky bits in there, which is my own fault for losing my lid. I lost it during the live for the color theory class, and I have since looked for it multiple times but have been unable to find it. And then I'll just push that right back down there, and then we'll be back in business. Okay, so now we're going to glue this section down. I try not to squeeze too much and just kind of let the glue flow. I do sometimes on a bigger leaf, you know, have to glue it down. But for the thin viney parts, I try to just let the glue flow out of the bottle, let gravity do its job. But you do want to have enough where like you can see it. Otherwise, by the time you get back around, you're gonna be dry, and you're just gonna be in a continual loop of trying to glue this thing down. Okay. All right. There we go. Now I'm gonna flip this over. I'm gonna start lining it up at the bottom. I feel like this. Okay. This guy needs to get tucked in a little bit. All right. If you have a section where you get glue on the outside, like onto your actual card base, just let it dry. That's what adhesive erasers are for. So just let it dry, and then once it's dry, you can go back in and pull it up. Okay. So now, I wish I could do like a split screen with the thing, but I can't. I wonder if I could make this separate and kind of pop it down here in the corner. Oh yeah, that works. There we go. Okay. So now I have a large heart and this one here. So I'm going to put my heart there. And then I'm not going to glue the heart down yet. I'm just going to glue this first. See, now that I've cleaned out the blockage, the gravity is taking care of it. So that way it lines up with the one in the background. And I can make sure that I am happy with where that is sitting. And then I can go in and glue the whole thing. And just line it right back up there. And there is one heart in. Then I'm trying to make sure that I kind of mix it up a little bit. I'm going to do all the big hearts first, I think. So I'm going to do this one here. And I have to find, yep, that one's there. Okay. So I think we've talked about it a little bit that like with my hypothyroidism and stuff, I've been trying to work out a little bit more. You know, I'm obviously watching, you know, paying attention to what I'm eating and stuff, but I've also been trying to get out of the house. And so yesterday I went to yoga and your girl was on the struggle bus. So I was struggling. And it wasn't so much like the abs or the legs or any of that. It was my wrists. I don't know how you strengthen your wrists, but I need to do it. Because holding downward dog for that long, like I was definitely hurting. All right, so I need a medium one for over here. I just used that one. Is that the only one that I have in that size? Why would I do that to myself? All right. So this is why it's good to have spares. Does that mean I'm going to have to color it up really quickly? Yes, it does. But thankfully, it only takes but a second. Oh, thank you, Tara. Yeah, so now, after we had our little conversation the other day, I'm no longer streaming the lives on my own channel. Wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. What is this one? This one is this one. So I'm no longer streaming them on my own channel, but I will be streaming the edited versions. Like I'll be posting them over there. And sometimes, if I change something, like if I'm not happy with the way that the card came out and I need to change something, then I will do that after the live. And then that part is included in the edited video, just so you guys are aware. So if you're like, hey, I really like that technique, but I don't want to have to watch an hour and a half long or 2 hour long live, I get it. You'll find the edited versions over on my own channel. Okay. So then I have this one's kind of like a medium one. I think it's one of these. But that one has no greenery. So then I just have the two big ones down here. So we're going to do this one here. And that's going to be this one again, I think. Yep. Oh, thank you so much. Once I came around to the idea that I could color my own die cuts, it was much easier for me to get onto the die cutting train. Like, it was a struggle for me in the beginning. I still don't love cutting them out, but I can appreciate at least the end result. So then I'm going to do this pink one, I think. Nope. Is it this one? Yeah, it is this one. Oh, see, I've already put glue on it now. I trust that we've done a couple of them and that I can put it in the right place. I usually watch the edited ones too because the kids are running around and bedtime happens. Yeah, Tina, I totally get that. Children are wild. That's why I didn't get my thing up yesterday, because I was like, oh, I'll be able to do it in addition to the 2 other videos that I'm trying to get done. That won't be a problem. It'll just be a little bit of extra. And then my daughter was like, no, none of us shall sleep. Yeah, Kim, me too. Die cuts are so fun to color. I think once, like I said, once I came around to it, all right, so these are our big ones. And then I'm going to go in and fill in the smaller ones. So what do we have going on here? I'm going to do a red up here. And these ones don't have the little greenery on them. They're just kind of like hearts on the vine. But die cutting sure beats fussy cutting. I don't mind fussy cutting. I think I'm an anomaly. I think I don't mind the fussy cutting because I like making 1-layer cards. All right. So this one goes here like this. And then I'm going to put this one here. So, I mean, we have 3 colors, so I am just trying to mix up the color scheme here a little bit. I try to fussy cut, but if there's a die for it, it goes in the cart. I do appreciate the dies for the times that I'm like, I don't want to be doing any of this when it comes to cutting them out. Mostly, honestly, it's when I'm in a rush. And I realize that I am uniquely privileged where this is my job. And so that means that, are those the same? They're not. But I do think it's this one here. And I would like it if there were not 2 pink ones right next to each other. So off we go to find another one in that shape. But that's the other thing. Like, I was very curious, like, with the way that like the finances were trending and the market is slowing down, when it comes to crafting. I was curious if stamps would make a comeback, because obviously stamps are cheaper than dies, but it doesn't look like that's happening. It looks like people maybe are just buying less. Is there a coupon code? Because the website said no, Jennifer, it's just on sale. That's why I chose this one. because we all love a deal. So I chose this one specifically because it was on sale. Okay, so then you have this one. We did this one. Now we have the two smaller ones down here. I'm going to do the red one. And then this is, so this is the way that the background is set up on its own. That's all of the pieces together. Now we, as we talked about before, are going to add more. We're going to add more. I think I like it up here. And then we'll add, how about this one? And then I'll put this little guy right here so he looks like he's coming off of that vine. And then what do we decide? Maybe this one down here this way. Is that what we did? Or this one this way? What about that way? No, because these are growing the opposite way. All right. Fine. I'll put it on backwards. Oh, it's only $2 off. That's why you asked. Yeah. So it's just like a little, there's a couple of different things in there that have just like a little extra off. No, I don't like that one. That one's too big. We're going to go with this one. See, I already put the glue on the other one, but that's okay. There we go. That is better size-wise. And then do we put a little guy up here maybe? I know we put some in here. Maybe this way. Sometimes you just got to play around with it until you find something that you're a fan of. I think that's okay. Now it kind of parallels that. Maybe I'll just put it up like that. Even though it doesn't connect to anything, once we cover it up, nobody's going to know. They're not going to know. Oh, Lori, I'm praying for you and Ginger. It's such a hard time. There we go. I got to put this one down. Okay. Is that it? Or did we do... I think we did one up here. Okay. All right. I have this one, but I feel like that's a pretty full. I feel like I'm pretty happy with the balance. There's lots of little guys popping off here. So now remember before I told you, did I lose my did I lose my sentiment? But I did. I found it again. So we have this, which I think maybe this way. Maybe I would like it upside down a little better. I'm not opposed to that. Yeah, I think I like it the other way better. So back to the scrap pile for some vellum. Oh, perfect. Perfect. And then do I want to go with the light pink? Maybe I'll go with the dark pink. I feel like I have a bigger piece of that. Yeah, I do. All right. We could also go with the red, but I'm not gonna. Okay. So the reason I'm doing the vellum shadow is because this is a large sentiment and I want as much of this to kind of show through as possible. And the vellum is going to give me the best opportunity to do that. Now I could skip the vellum and just do the scripty part and kind of like stack it up. But I feel like it's going to blend into the background because we have all those hearts there as well. Now, I was going to say, will it fit through my Scout? And it will. Because it's 3.5 by 9. And this is a 3 1/4. I'm also going to trim this down to make sure this little guy will also fit in my little Scout. Okay. There we go. So there's one. There's the other. Are both my plates down? Nope. Where's my top plate? What'd you do with it, Kelly? Here it is, underneath all my paper scraps. All right. So then we'll run this through. Exactly. You see, it's like you guys are here in my craft room under a pile of papers. 100% accurate. So I don't feel like I need to cut the vellum twice, but I do want to go over this sentiment 2 times because, again, it's that very intricate kind of scripty lettering. So I just want to make sure that we have gotten it, and it looks like we have. Come into my little trash bin. Oh, the static is for real. It's like sticking to the side. Everything's so dry. Everything's so dry. All right. Let's take this back down. Okay, and then this one. Poker. Where's my little poker? Again, under a pile of papers. I'm just going to take it over here and poke it. That'll be easier, I think. Where else? Oh, the E. Okay, I think that's it. So then we got that going on. Let's just double check that we are a fan. Oh yeah, see, I think that's cute. Or you could do a landscape, and that would be cute as well. Here's the way that I originally tried it, that I wasn't in love with. Or then this one. Actually, now I think I like it better this way. Why am I the way that I am? I don't know. So now remember when I said like, hey, I don't need this little red one, but look at, I have like this little gap down there, which is going to be perfect for this little red one. Oh, I let it get, because I let it sit there. I let it get clogged up again. Okay. Oh, I like that. Hi, Mari. How are you doing? It was nice of you to stop in. I hope that you're feeling good. Okay. Come on, little guy. See, it's because I had it, gravity was doing its thing too well. And so I flipped it upside down on the desk. And now I got to wait for all of it to get down here. Where is my glue gun? Susan, everywhere is out of the refills. So I have not used it. There we go. And now that we can have that little spot filled in as well. And then I know it seems crazy. Oh, good. I'm so glad to hear that. I know this seems crazy because, like, why would you color a sentiment? But this sentiment is very large and I want it to match kind of what we have going on here. So I'm just going to add a little bit of shading. I'm just going to, I'm going to treat it almost like the vines that we colored. So that way they have a little bit of that extra color. And no, that was wrong. We'll see if we can fix that in a minute. This loop goes on top. There we go. just so that it match. Just so that we have a little matchy color, because you guys know that I love a matchy color. And then okay. You're probably going to be like, by the time we get done with this card, you're going to be like, Kelly, why did you do all of that? But sometimes it's about teaching you different techniques. You did. Yeah, I think that was the last show. No, I take that back, because I went to create. Matches my nail polish again. It's the same color. I must be really digging pinks lately. I went to Simon Says Create a few weeks after that. But then I think that was my last trade show last year, because my mom was sick. I did no traveling at all. But this year, in March, I'll be at Crop on the Cape. I'll be teaching a class for Honeybee in person over at Cape Cod. And then I will also be teaching a class for Trinity Stamps, the same event. All right, so we've added our little dimension there. I like that. I like where that is. Oh, that's right. You were at Create too. It was a busy month for us, girl. Okay, so now let's glue this together before my glue dries up on me again. Okay. Don't be like that. I miss CHA. Thank you so much, Mari. I haven't been to CHA. I've only ever been twice. Once when it was like legit CHA, and that was in California, and Dawn and I went together. Because at the time she owned, she had, W+9 was open, and then I was working for her. And then I went when it was Creativation like we just said, 2 years ago. Okay. Gonna lay this down there. Gentle, gentle, gentle. Okay. Now, before I put this on, we have to add our details, because you know that we have to add our details, right? So we're going to do clear glitter. Is that all we're going to do with the glitter? I don't know. I have to see. I have to see how it comes together. But for now, we'll start with this. Squeeze out a little bit more. All right, there we go. And then we're going to use our gel pen. to add some little highlights to our hearts. These are always more noticeable on darker colors. They're more dramatic on darker colors. Okay, look how cute they are. When will we be sharing sneaks of the next release? I think next week. Okay, so now we're going to put our little guy on here, but we're only going to put adhesive where the letters are. So here I need to make sure I don't have like a lot, because we're just going to do little dots because it will show through. And we don't want that. So this part can be a little bit tedious, but it's worth it to make sure that you don't ruin your beautiful card by having the adhesive squeeze out the side. Okay. Almost done. All right, and then make sure we get them straight. Scoot them down just a little bit. Okay. Alrighty. Now this is going to be the part where you're like, Kelly, why did you even bother to color the sentiment if you were just going to do this? But I can't help myself because I love the glitters. And you're still going to be able to see the shading through the glitters. Just kind of like tracing the words. We don't have to get every bit of it to make it glittery. You could also cut this if you have like glittery pink cardstock. You could do that. You wouldn't be able to do the shading then, but it would be another way to achieve a very similar look. Okay. Yes, it's Stardust Stickles. They're the best. They're the bestest. So then we have this very glittery sentiment. And then you could even, if you wanted to, you could like pop in and do a couple of little, you know, glitters on your hearts. And do I want to? Of course I do. Why would I not want to? So I'm not filling in the whole thing, though you could. I'm just doing like a little line here and there, almost kind of like the same thing as the highlight. Just to add a little bit more glitter to it. And then I am going to put some rhinestones on it. These are the pink ones. This is, what is this? I think this is the spring one. Got to come down a little bit, my guy. then we'll do a little medium. Oh, look at, he just hopped right. He was so excited to get on the card. He just hopped right over there. Okay. I think she's a beauty. All right. So let's, here I am again. Hello, after 2 hours. After 2 hours. I think she came out really cute. And like, I think adding the extra colors in there and stuff makes it a little bit more interesting, making it our own, by adding more hearts in there where maybe they're to fill up kind of some of the space. I love the sentiment. The sentiment, it might be my favorite part, honestly. I think it looks really cool with the shading and the glitters. So yeah, she's a pretty girl. Okay, so let's pick a winner. Where's my mouse? Let's pick a winner. I just scroll, randomly while I look into the camera so nobody thinks that I'm cheating about who I'm picking. And then we just stop. And it looks like Lynn is our winner. Is Lynn still here? I hope so. Congratulations. You have won the $25 gift card to Honeybee. So let me bring up where you're going to send the email. You're going to send the email to customercare@honeybeestamps.com. And I hope she's still in here. I know sometimes people have to go. So I hope that she's still here. Let me get all the way down. If not, I'll try to see, or if one of you guys knows her, we'll try to see about tagging her maybe on the Facebook. Oh no, there she is. Yay, Lynn! Congratulations. So send an email to customercare@honeybeestamps.com and they'll get you set up with your gift card. Okay. Wonderful. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope that this inspires you to make maybe some Valentines. Check out those bold backgrounds. They have a bunch of different ones. I think this was a really fun card to make, and I love spending time with you guys and chit-chatting. So thank you so much for spending your time with me, and I will hopefully see you later this week for our premiere, maybe, hopefully, fingers crossed. I don't want to make promises and not deliver again. Okay, so that's it. All right, bye guys.